Welcome to Digital Marketing. This week, it's episode number 15. And just going to ahead and wish everybody that hope that you had a great week last week. We're looking forward to even more weeks to come. Real quick, early note, we will not be having an episode next week because we're actually doing a little bit of traveling. I'm going to go speak at the Performance Marketing Summit out in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we're doing a little bit of traveling to get out that way. So we won't have DMTW next week. However, this week we will. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Of course, brought to you by Seriously Simple Marketing over at SeriouslySimpleMarketing.com. My name is Chris Mercer. I'm a content developer for Seriously Simple Marketing. My specialty, though, is optimization, which means I basically spend my days knee-deep in Google Analytics and split testing and trying to optimize whatever I possibly can. I am the host of DMTW, of course, and yeah, just feel free to call me Mercer. This week's focus topic is all about WordPress 4.0, and I'm actually kind of excited about this. 4.0 came out not that long ago. If you have any questions as we go through this, you can visit this site, which is ssm.tips/question. It's going to take you to a form that you can see right here, and you can actually enter your question and then we can address it live on this webinar. So let's go ahead and jump back in. This is our focus topic, WordPress 4.0. What we're going to do today is actually go through and update our own site live, and then we're going to compare the features of the old WordPress to the new WordPress. So we'll give you a tour of what WordPress 4.0 has in store. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on in with that. So first thing, I want to cover this in sort of steps. So here's how we're going to do this. The very first thing you want to do, and this is whenever you do a major update, right? So WordPress 3.9.2, and if it went to 3.9.3, not a major update. But if it's a major update, like in this case, 3.9 to 4, 4 is a big update. When they change that little first number, it's a big update. So here's the steps that we follow. The very first thing is we go through and we check with Google. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to type in the theme or the plugin that we're kind of concerned about. We're going to type in WordPress 4.0 in quotations, and we are going to do it with quotes so that Google searches for WordPress 4.0, not just WordPress. And then we're going to put in the words error or conflict, just so that we can get an idea is there any sort of existing conflicts? Are there errors that people are running into? These are the things that we want to check first, because there's no point in updating if we can verify that there's already problems. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to jump into our friend Google here, and we use Optimize Press. So I'm going to type in Optimize Press WordPress 4.0 in quotes because I wanted to search for that, and let's just say error. And here's what we're looking for. So we're looking for anything that shows that there's an error. So now what we're really scanning for here is the dates. So May, okay, this 4.0, WordPress 4.0 came out in early September. So all of these are old. We're not even going to worry about what they say. And we don't see anything that's obvious errors. Okay, it looks like there was some flow player stuff. This isn't even with WordPress 4.0, so we're probably pretty good here. And this is really all I have to do is scan the first page, because if there is a problem, guaranteed there will be multiple forums where people are posting this stuff, and you would most likely see it. If you had a plugin, let's say Yoast WordPress SEO plugin, all right, so we could do the same thing, and we could just see, is there any sort of obvious errors that are happening with Yoast. So let's take a look. So ships today, September 4th. The version of plugin's been fully updated, so we're good there. I don't see anything else. And you would just kind of go through and do that. These are all old stuff. So you would go through and do that with your major plugins. Now, WordPress 4.0 has been around. It's been out in the live sort of universe, in the WordPress universe, released in the wild for at least the last couple of weeks. So it's had a lot of people, millions of people have gone through and essentially have split tested it. So what we want to do is we want to go through and then check it, which we've done. Okay, so now we're pretty safe. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm not that, I'm not that scared about upgrading at this point, because it doesn't seem like there's any really known conflicts with the main theme that I'm using. All right, and we're not using any sort of advanced plugins or anything like that. So we're probably pretty good here. Next, what we're going to do is back up. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Step number 2. Step number 1 was checking just to make sure on a quick Google search if there's any obvious things that we need to stay away from, and it doesn't seem like there are. Step 2, back up. Always, 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 always back up before you update. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Now, we actually, just for the sake of time, I'll show you what we did here. So we've got Seriously Simple Marketing. This is our root site. We also have a /s site where we created another WordPress installation. That's where we have all of our sales pages and squeeze pages and all that fun stuff. And we're going to upgrade this /s site. So what we do is we just have Backup Buddy. And so we're going to check with Backup Buddy and find when our last upgrade was, or sorry, last backup was. It was actually backed up 8 hours ago. So we're good. It was a complete backup and it was fine. So we already have a current backup. We don't have to worry about it, which is nice. If we didn't have a backup, we would just click complete backup and Backup Buddy would take care of it for us. If you back up manually, you can either make a copy of the files on your own. You can FTP them around if you wanted to. You could jump into your, your HostGator or cPanel and create a backup of your cPanel. There's lots of different ways you can get a backup. Again, we recommend Backup Buddy because it is just flawless. It works every time, and it's automatic, so we don't have to worry about it. And it automatically puts stuff in. We got plenty of, as you can see here, we've got plenty of backups of our database and a complete backup that happens. I believe it's like once a week we schedule it for. So anyway, so we've already got our backup. And that is step number 2. So again, step number 1, we checked on Google. Step number 2, we have now confirmed that we've got a backup. Now it's time for the fun stuff. And there's nothing like updating live. So in this case, you can either update from within the dashboard or you can update via FTP if you don't have that from within the dashboard capability. Personally, I like updating from within the dashboard. There are occasions where things can potentially go wrong, but we're not expecting it based on what we've seen so far. So famous last words, right? Okay, so again, this is going to be our site. This is actually the blog site. These are our sales pages and squeeze pages, and that's our site there. So what we're going to do is jump into updates. And the reason that we're actually just going to update this one site is because I want to show you the difference between the two. So hopefully that will be pretty helpful. So we're going to go into updates. We're here. We are now, looks like we have no other updates to do except for the big one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and click update now. Before I do that, just to show you how to get the regular one, you can see here, you can just go to download 4.0. You can download it as a zip file. You can unzip it and you can just literally drag those files into FTP if you wanted to do that. So if you want to update it manually, that's how you do it. Just copy over the files. I have always found it really, really simple just to click update now and have it good to go. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and update now. 2 things are going to happen. One is we will have a successful update after just a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and click it and get it started. Or 2, we will have an unsuccessful update and I'm going to have to show you how to restore a WordPress site using Backup Buddy. And I'm really, really crossing my fingers hoping that we don't have that issue. So let's just find out. It's like live TV. All right, so we have officially updated. Go ahead and log back in. Now WordPress 4.0, because there were some changes in database stuff, it logged us out. It's asking us to log back in, and bam, we have an official WordPress 4.0 update, little intro video, all sorts of fun stuff there. All right, so now we've got that. Looks like we are officially upgraded. I'm going to flip back to our slides real quick because now we've got that official update done. You can see how easy that was. We want to verify, right? Big question, is everything still working? Now we've got live sites, we've got traffic going to these pages, so we don't really want to sit around and look for videos. We just want to see if these things are actually working. So I'm going to go ahead and go into some of my pages, and let's go ahead, jump into digital marketing this week. Actually, I'm going to go into pages this way. For those wondering, yes, this is a different look to pages. You probably don't have this, but there's something called a tree page view plugin, or sorry, pages tree view, that's what it's called. And you can actually, it's super cool when you have so many pages like we do, especially for membership sites. We have our membership site also on a different WordPress installation, and the membership site has hundreds and hundreds of pages, right? All these different video lessons. And so we use tree page view to as a plugin to go through and organize things. So it makes it a lot easier to find different pages. So there we go. We've got our little focus on WordPress. So let's go ahead and view that. Just make sure that it's working, and then it pulls up. And it does. So there we go. We can click on the buttons. Yep, functionality is all there. So we're pretty much good to go. Now, if you had a more extensive site, like again, if you're updating your blog, things like that, you want to click through different pages, you want to play different videos, all that sort of stuff. Just quickly going through to make sure everything's good to go. But in this case, we are golden. Let me just show you that tree page view while I'm here to go into plugins. And CMS tree page view, that's the one right there. So for those wondering, it's a pretty cool plugin, so worth getting. All right, so let's go back into our dashboard. So now we've got 3.9.2 over on here, and we have 4.0 here. And as far as we can tell, seems like everything's working. So we're good to go, right? So now we've got the verification done. We are officially done updating WordPress, and you're good to go. So at this point, normally we would also make a backup, just we've got a nice little successful working version. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go through a tour. So now it's the fun stuff. So again, this is where if you have questions over how things work or different sections you want to see, just make sure you put them into that ssm.tips/question, and we'll go ahead and answer those for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to jump back in. This is all about a WordPress tour. So we're going to do like a before and after type of view. Now, the very first thing I want to show you, we're going to jump into posts. We're going to show you the differences in the editor, right? And these are the things that you're going to notice and hopefully be able to take advantage of. So I'm going to pull up, let's see. These are all of our posts that are coming up. Let me just pull up, we use a plugin called Editorial Calendar. So I'm actually going to, let's do this one. Okay, so we're going to edit this post here. And so we've got our post editing. I'm just going to copy everything out really quick because what I want to do is I want to show you the old, right, and then the new. So I'm going to go ahead and create a post. Now, again, this is not an actual blog site. Our S site, as we call it, is a sales pages and squeeze pages, so we don't use the posts at all. But I want to show you just so you can see the editor. So I'm going to click on where it says Add New. We're going to open up a new post. This is just a test post. If I could spell, there we go. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and paste in our content. All right, so now there's before, there's after. So you can see for the most part, not a whole lot of difference, right? So what you want to see here is look right here. See this scroll bar? So this is, again, this is the old version, 3.92. Now look at WordPress 4.0. There's no scroll bar. So I'm going to show you the difference. As we scroll, you can see if I scroll from within, I can kind of do that. Or I can scroll off on the side, right? All these little windows as I scroll. Now look at 4.0. You can take it, come over here to the bar and scroll, but notice what's scrolling, right? So notice that the actual post is scrolling, nothing else is scrolling. See that? See the difference? So a little tough, but if I scrolled over here, the entire thing moves, right? So I kind of lose the post, and I have to go inside the post and then grab the scroll bar to scroll just within the post. But here, I've got a much bigger area to move around in. This is great for us because our posts are a little longer. And you've got all these little posts, this whole area. Now, as I scroll all the way down, I still get the bottom, which is great. So I still have all the extra stuff that I would have at the bottom, so you don't lose that. But first, it scrolls through the entire post, which is most of the time what you're trying to scroll. So that's a huge improvement. Actually, that's going to save us a ton of time because it is annoying to come through here, and then sometimes you'll hit something and scroll the entire page. But God, I really just wanted to scroll within the post, but you only have this little teeny window to do it unless you grab down here. But now you don't have to do that anymore. So that's super cool. Big giant area to play with. So I'm liking that. Next up, let's talk about the color pickers. That was the next thing that came up. So we're going to go through. So there's text color, right? So in WordPress, you're kind of limited to just these colors. But what if you're particular on your brand and you have other colors that you want to see or unique colors you want to put in? Well, now this is, okay, again, just to reiterate. So 3.9.2 is right here. This is what they look like. And now, new and improved, custom colors. So you can click on any of these custom colors and then you can define the actual color that you want to see. So pretty cool little feature. So that's what custom's all about. So there you go. So you can come through here, pick up the color picker, choose it, whatever color you want, or just type in if you have a hexadecimal, whatever you want to do. And then you can define those colors, and then you would just select your custom color down here. So again, here's where you define it. It will show up here. I'll just show you for the sake of example. Hit OK. Now you can see it's right there. So pretty cool little tool for those of you who have been always wanting to be able to customize your text and use custom colors and not be locked into whatever these presets were. All right, so that was scroll, right? Scroll was huge because now it's a lot easier to edit blog posts. Second thing was colors. The third thing is previews. And what I'm going to do is let me jump into YouTube here. And I'm just going to grab a post. Actually, by post, I mean video. And I'm just going to grab any video. So let's just grab something. All right, what do I want to grab here? Something that I don't mind showing up, because once I do this, of course, they're going to start sending me all sorts of stuff based on what I just saw. Okay, we're going to pause that. Now, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this URL, and now I'm going to go back into our 3.9.2. Now, I'm not actually going to, let me just see, there's an annoying thing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead down here, and I'm just going to paste this in. Okay, there's our embed, right? All right, so that's what it does there. Now I'm going to go to 4.0, do the same thing. We're going to scroll down to the bottom. And with any luck, oh, you know what? I believe it's because I did it in visual. I got to switch over to text. Yep, let's do that. I've got all this fun stuff around there. If I did this right, nothing like live, right? There we go. So that's what I wanted to show you. So let me jump back into text. Again, because it's a text link, that's why I want to make sure that the hyperlink comes across. We're in 3.9.2 right now, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing. Okay. All right, so see in visual, when I do that 3.9.2, this is how it comes across. In 4.0, I do the exact same thing, and yet the video is right there. So this kind of gives you an example that when you now normally what would happen is I could preview this and see it in 3.9.2, right? But here I don't have to worry about it. It automatically previews from within the post. I haven't published it. I haven't even saved a draft. So that's huge, because when you're embedding videos, it's kind of tough, because before, now we embedded these kind of the old style, so these still show up gray because of the way that we embedded them, because they're actually embed code. But it's tough because you kind of see where they're going to go, but you don't know what they look like, right? And here you can actually see and then say, okay, well, I want to take this element and then I want to center it. And then you can go through and you can center stuff, you can edit stuff, however you want to do it. So, oops. And evidently you can play with it too. So there you go. The other thing is, I believe, for images, I'm going to go ahead and edit this real quick. So there's our insert from URL. So that's how you can actually go through and edit it. And in this example, I'm going to jump into a different thing here. I'm just going to go into our media library. And we're going to click on, let's just do this image for now. I'm going to insert into post. This is something else that, nice little WordPress feature. Make sure I inserted that right. That may not have worked because I had the YouTube video highlighted. Let's try it again. Add media, insert into post. There we go. All right, so here, again, you get same drag and drop functioning that you've got before, and you also have the ability, of course, to resize within WordPress as well. So that's functionality still stayed the same. Obviously with the video, you're not doing that because this is just pulling the video in from the URL. But if you were to embed it, which is how we typically do it, you can actually go through, let's see, what is it, show more? Nope. Where's my embed code? There we go, share, and then embed code. And then you can pull the embed code, you can change the size right there if you wanted to, if you want to do like a custom size. So, but again, pretty cool that you can go ahead and see exactly what it looks like. So those are the three things with the editor: the scroll, the colored text, that you've got the ability to customize your colors now, and then the fact that you can do these live previews that will show up when you start doing URLs. So again, this won't apply for every single thing you do, but it will for some, which is pretty interesting. And again, it's kind of interesting because you can interact with this evidently too, which is I didn't realize. So there you go. Okay. So that's our editor, and those are the three main things with the editor. Next up is we've got the, let's jump into plugins. Okay, so we're gonna go into plugins. Yes, I'm gonna leave this page because I don't really care about saving that. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into plugins. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do first? Because I absolutely wanna make sure, so scroll back up, scroll back down, that this does not stay in there at all. I don't want anybody accidentally publishing that. All right, so we're good to go. Okay, so now we're gonna go back into plugins and leave the page. It'll save a little version of it. Okay, so we're about to hit plugins. So this is the plugins 3.9.2 version. This is plugins 4.0 version. Not really that different. However, watch this. I'm gonna go to add new plugin. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna click on add new. So this is the add new plugin and what it looks like right now. So that was 3.9.2, version 4.0. Big difference. So 3.9.2, kind of boring, you gotta type in stuff, right? 4.0. So all of a sudden, you've got recommended plugins that are coming up, and you've got more details about those plugins. So you can see the number of downloads automatically. And this is huge because normally what would happen is you would have to come in here, and let's just do Backup Buddy, because it's also on the other one I noticed. All right, so you have to come in and say, search for Backup Buddy. And it would come through here and it would kind of look like this, right? So remember, you sort of have all these different things and you can see some stuff, it's like rating, but that rating could have been like, say, for example, Toolbar Buddy, right? So it's got 5 stars, but does that mean 5 out of 1,000 people that said that? So in this case, look, so you got to hover and you see 6 ratings. So yeah, it's great that it's got 5, but it's only 6 people. So here, you instantly see exactly it's 180, so 5 stars, 180 people rated it. Look how many people downloaded it. Look when it was last updated. All the information that you do not see here. So normally what you'd have to go through and say, okay, let's go ahead to details, and you got to click on details. This is the old version, again, 3.9.2. Wait for that to load up, and it gives you some information, right? Last update 2 years ago, blah, blah, blah. But again, now you go to plugins, you can pull them up and it shows you, here are the 5 stars, here are the ratings, here's how many downloaded it, here's when it was last updated. This is all the information you want to check when you're installing a plugin. Because remember, when you go to install plugins, you want to make sure that you're not installing something that hasn't been updated in years, because it just means it's not supported. And if it's not supported anymore, chances are there's going to be security issues with it. So just back up, leave it alone, and go find a better plugin. One that is downloaded a bunch of times. That means lots of people have been using it and testing it. One that is rated highly, obviously. So these are the things that you're looking for. But you can see you can still get more details if you want. It'll actually pull up the same box. So if you did want to get, and this would be changelog reviews. This is a much closer to what the actual plugins page looks like on WordPress. So you can flip through the different logs here and kind of see everything versus that old style. And of course, you can just do the one-click installation here or just here. If you know this is the plugin you wanted, just click install now. It'll automatically install it. So plugins was huge. This is kind of this new grid view that they now have. And again, if you're looking for like, where do I search? Right there. So you'd search up the right here. And if you want to upload a plugin, you still can, just like always. So pretty cool. So this was a big deal. 4.0, big change. So we've got the editor changes. We now have the plugins and how the interface there changed. Next, let's talk about something that I think is actually pretty tiny, but might be interesting to you. So we're going to go to Appearance and then Customize. And this is where you would typically customize themes. Now, we don't actually use this feature because we use Optimized Press. But what happens is, you can click on, and when I say we use Optimized Press, I mean that Optimized Press customizes in a different area. So we don't really mess with this way of customizing it. Some themes you would do this. But what used to happen is you've got all these different widgets and move things around. And what they did is they actually switched the widgets around. So we come to widgets now, and you see here how it says widget sidebar, widget subfooter section. If you have a lot of different sections, these would all sort of show. Now what they did is they sort of made it into this collapsible form. So you click on widgets and then it pulls up whatever your widgets are. Now again, we're not using them on the S site where they would show here, but that's really all it is. It's a minor change, but if you use a lot of widgets and you have a lot of widget areas on your themes, you'll find that you click in here and then they pop up, as opposed to just having a long list of widgets, which is what they used to do. So that's a change between 3.92, which is this one, and 4.0, which is this one. Okay, so now let's go back. I'm gonna go ahead and close these out. Go back and we'll X out here. Instead of close, it's now an X. Okay, so now we've got 3.92 here, and we should be back to, let's go back to our dashboard just so we can start from scratch. All right, so now, so 3.92, 4.0. Okay, so very little change there. What we're gonna go look at is the final thing that they really messed with, and that was media. Okay, so I'm gonna click where it says media. That's 3.92 media. You can see this is all, again, media is where you upload your images, your audio files, your PDFs, anything that you upload into WordPress goes into media. And then we're gonna go click on media here with 4.0. All right, so a little different, right? You already sort of got a glance at this, what this looked like earlier when I was playing with that post. So now you've got this list view here. This is 3.92, sort of standard list view, gives you some details, but most of the time you're just looking for the picture you want. Now they have a grid view where you can go through and you can grab whatever the picture is that you want, and then you can click and upload it, as you saw that I did earlier. However, if you still like your list view, it's right here. So you can go through and just click there, and there's your list view back the way that you're used to seeing it. So you have that. You can also see that you've got images, unattached files. If we go back to grid, so images, audio, video, and it actually shows that it's separate. So that's another benefit of the grid factor. So whereas here, you just have dates, and there's really no other way. You can't really separate out. So that was another feature that they did with the media player, or sorry, media library. So you can still add new just like you were able to before. And now with this grid view, you've got a much easier way of grabbing your photos or images, and you can also sort and say, just show me the audio, just show me the videos, just show me the images, however you'd like to do it, and of course dates. But that was also available in 3.92. But this was a big difference. I mean, look at this, 3.92, 4.0. So yay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at one other thing with the media player. And this is, again, it's sort of tiny, but I'm going to click on it and see here. Let's just pull up the one that we've got. I'm just pulling up images here. All right, so here's our image, right? So that's what happens when you click on an image there. This is what happens when you click on an image here. Also on 4.0, you've got the ability to flip through. So you can go and you can edit an image. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you can change the size and rotation and whatever else, but you can also flip through and go to the next image and do the same thing. And you can kind of flip through them all here as you browse through, right? So all I'm doing is right up here in the upper right-hand corner, I can browse through, take a look at what the different images are, and edit them accordingly to however I want. Now there wasn't, to my knowledge, I don't believe there's anything different in terms of the editing ability. Let me just make sure. So we're going to click on Edit Image here. So yeah, nothing in terms of the editability has popped up. So there's still the same tools that you have, but completely different way of doing it. So you've got this here, you know, sort of the same functionality, but if I wanted to go to the next image, I couldn't. So this way, the entire thing pops up. You've got plenty of space, obviously, to work with. And then if you want to flip to the next image, you can. And then put in, like, for example, if you're going to do like a copy and pasting of text or something like that, would come in really handy here. Because you could just paste it in and then go to your next image and paste it in and go to your next image and paste it in and go to the next image, and et cetera, et cetera. So that is that. So that's, for the most part, I think we got all the major changes with WordPress 4.0. Again, we safely updated, which was great. And we went through and took a look at the editor. We took a look at our media library, which was kind of cool. We took a look at our customize, which again, maybe not that big a deal for those of you who are doing the widgets, but interesting. And then finally, we took a look at our plugins and the grid view. So this is the review of the new, okay? So again, editor, 3 changes. They fixed the scroll, so that now that you can scroll the entire thing, which also gave us a lot more space to actually edit blog posts, which I think is great. We're going to use that a lot. Custom colors, personally, we're probably not going to use this, but for those of you who really need that functionality, it's there now. Instant preview, we're going to use this on and off depending upon what we're inserting, but it is always good to be able to see what we're doing without having to actually publish first and then see if it worked or not, and then go back and edit it. The media library, this is the new grid view. Of course, by default, we're using that. You saw we already did when we were doing that post earlier. And the editor navigation, this is something we don't normally need that. But if, for example, we were changing sizes of a bunch of images and we needed them all the same size, I could totally see us using that and just loading up an image and then changing the size and then clicking that little arrow and moving on to the next image and changing the size and not having to go in and out and save stuff. So that could definitely be useful. The customize feature, again, we don't use this, but you saw that there were changes in the way that the widgets are listed. And then plugins, which of course we will use, grid view, which I think is awesome. I like this change a lot because everything is all up front, it's all in one place, and you can tell what the ratings are, how many people rated them, so that gives you an idea if it's significant enough to matter, the number of downloads, and when it was last updated. These are the most important things, and this is what I care about when I go to install a plugin. So that brings us to an end of the content portion, and we thank you again for joining us for Digital Marketing this week. We will not have a show next week, but we will be back the week after that. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you in 2 weeks.